Hello students, this is your tutor Miss Zulu. In today's lesson, we are looking at the introduction to commerce. While we're going to look at the different branches in the introduction to commerce, we'll look at the trades, we'll look at the aid to trades and everything that falls under them. But before I get into that, remember to subscribe to my YouTube channel for more sessions. So today we're looking at introduction to commerce. What is commerce? So commerce is the exchange of goods or services among two or more parties. Commerce is also the trade and the aid to trade. What do I mean by trade? Let's start by defining what trading is. So, trading is the buying and selling of goods and services with the view of trying profit. This trade has two different types. Namely, the home trade, which is also known as the local trade, and we also have the international trade, which is also known as the foreign trade. So I came up with this just to show you the branches that we'll be looking at today. So when we talk of the trade, we'll look at the two different types of trade. Under the home trade or the local trade, we'll look at the wholesale and the retail. Under the foreign or the international trade, we'll look at the import, we'll look at the export, and the re-export. The re-export can also be known as the interport. When we look at the aids to trade, we'll look at the insurance, we'll look at the advertising, the transport, the communication, warehousing, banking, and finance. Now we look at the home, also known as the local trade. What is home trade? So home trade is the buying and selling of goods and services within a particular country. What do I mean? So let's say I live in a country, Zambia, and in that country there's a city called Lusaka and another city called Kitwe. So I'm in Lusaka and I want to buy goods from Kitwe. So that act is called home trading or local trading. I am buying and or selling those products within my country, two cities within my country. So that is a good example of home trade. So this home trade involves retailing and wholesaling. So what is retailing? Retailing is the buying and selling of goods and services in small quantities. So, for example, retailing, I would give an example of walking to a shop or a boutique just to go and buy things in small quantities. Let's say you go to a shop and just buy one bread, or maybe you go to a boutique and just buy one dress. That can be an example of retailing, buying things in small quantities. Then when we talk about wholesaling is the buying and the selling of goods and services in large quantities. So here I would give an example of I go to a shop and buy maybe 10 loaves of bread, or maybe I go to a boutique and buy over 20 dresses. That can be wholesaling. Now we look at international or foreign trade. So international trade is the buying and selling of goods and services between two or more countries. So here I'll give an example of, let's say I'm in Zambia and I want to order some goods from South Africa. So that is an example of foreign trade because I'm getting my goods from another different country and not within my country. So that's the difference. The international trade is where you get goods from a different country. Then the international trade involves importing and exporting and interport trade. Like I said in the beginning, interport can be the same as re-exporting. So let's talk about the import trade. Import trade is the buying of goods and services from another country. Like the example that I gave, I'm in a country, Zambia, and I'm trying to buy goods from South Africa. That's an example of import trade. Let's talk about export trade. So export trade is the selling of goods and services to another country. So let's say I'm in Zambia and I sell my goods to Zimbabwe. So that's an example of export. Instead of selling those goods in my country, Zambia, I'll be selling them to Zimbabwe. That's an example of export trade. Then we look at interport trade or report trade. This is the importation of goods from another country for re-exportation to a different country. So let's say I'm in Zambia and I get my goods from South Africa with intentions of going to sell them in Zimbabwe. That's an example of interport or report trade. Now we look at aid to trade. What are these? So aid to trade are commercial services or activities that help in the distribution of goods from producers to customers. So this aid to trade has 6 branches. It has the advertising, it has the banking, it has the insurance, it has communication and warehousing. So let's look at in details advertising. So the first one is by spreading awareness on matters of the public interest. The second one on advertising is informing the public on jobs, vacancies with the view of recruiting new staff. If you're trying to advertise, you have your own company, you put it on public, you advertise it with the view of employing new staffs. The third point is persuading potential customers to buy the goods and services which are available. So you persuade your customers or your future customers on the goods that you have available. And the other point to look at is giving information on the availability of goods and services on the market. What's on the market? You advertise what's on the market at that particular time. We look at banking. The first point is necessary for depositing as well as receiving money. So through the bank or through banking, we can deposit money or we can receive money. Then we have facilitates the payment of huge sum of money through checks. In a situation where you have very huge sum of money, you can use a check. Finances the trades by means of loans and overdrafts. So this banking will allow you to get overdrafts. It allows you to get loans as well. Obtaining foreign exchange. The other point is payment of wages and salaries. The last point is making payments through direct debit, credit transfers, and standing orders. The other one we'll look at is transport. The first point, move customers to and from the factories. So when you talk about transport, it's necessary because you need to move your customers from where you are picking them up to where your factory is. In the case of maybe you want to show them your products, you want to show them your goods. The other one is carry finished goods from factory to the markets. So you need to have transport because you'll be transferring your goods from the location where your factory is to the markets where you distribute them. The other one is delivering equipment and raw materials to industries. The last point is move workers to and from the place. So let's say you have workers who stay in other areas far from your factory. You need to have transport in order to pick them up and drop them back. The other one we'll look at is insurance. So insurance covers a loss of raw materials and other properties. Very important. Let's say you have a situation where you lose or you are facing a loss, or maybe you lose your raw materials or other properties, the insurance comes in. The other one provides confidence to traders to go into huge businesses without fear of making a loss. You know you are insured, you are secured by that insurance that you have. So it will be very easy for traders to get in huge businesses because they have an insurance. They are not afraid of the losses that will come because they have an insurance that is going to cater for it. The other one is it provides a saving plan to survive independence. The other one compensates or covers in a case of financial losses, raw materials, and finished goods. So you are insured, you are assured that your insurance will cater for everything that you lose, be it your finished goods, your raw materials, and your finances. The other one we look at is communication. So the first point is help in the provision of informing a potential customers. When you communicate, you inform your potential customers. The other one is contacting customers. The other one, necessary in contacting or getting in touch with suppliers of your raw materials. You need to get in touch with the people that supply your goods. Then the other one is enables the business to receive inquiries, orders from customers. So communication is very important because your customers or your future customers would want to inquire about your products. They would want to make orders. So communication is very important. We have the warehousing. So this one is necessary for storage of raw materials and finished goods. The other one avoids fluctuations in supply. The other one, it protects against damage. The other one, some chemicals may need special storage. Let's say your factory deals with harmful chemicals, so you wouldn't want to expose them. You would want to keep them in a safer place in a warehouse. And then stores seasonal goods. Let's talk about raincoats. Let's talk about coats, jerseys. Those are seasonal. So let's say you have a factory that makes jerseys or raincoats. You need to store them in that warehouse until that season where they're needed. Human wants and needs. What are basic human wants? So these are goods and services that we require but can still survive without them. So examples of these are a cell phone, television, a radio, a computer, vehicles, and a fridge. So when we talk about wants, we talk about requirements which a person won't want but can still survive or can still live without them. So when you talk about a cell phone, everybody wants a cell phone. Everybody would need a cell phone, but you can survive without a cell phone. You can survive without a television. The other one we'll look at is the human needs. What are human needs? These are goods and services we require in order to survive. These ones, it's hard to live without them. We need them. It's mandatory. We need them. For example, we have the food, we have shelter and clothes. These human wants and needs are satisfied by production. So we can't do without them. No one can do without food. No one can do without clothes and shelter. These are things that we need in our day-to-day lives. Thank you so much for listening to my session. Make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel for more